Alright, welcome back everyone for some more of the No Suit Survival series. So today, my plan is to go and salvage that crashed Infinity wreck over there. I have a new ship idea I want to try out. It's going to be a pretty long, spindly thing that can grab ships and bring them down from these space stations. I think I've got one of them marked here that has... I've only got stations marked on the ground, but there is a space station which sells ships. A lot of S's in that. And what I want to do is I want to get up enough money so that I can just buy ships and grab them with this new design that I'm thinking of, and then just bring them down here. So that's going to be another long, large grid ship. So I was initially going to do just the one silo for my transport rocket here, but I might actually do two silos right next to each other so I've got room to store both. So my plan for this episode is to grind that down and build the new ship, and then in the next episode we will build the silos and probably decorate this hangar if I have the time for it. One thing I did want to start off with is I had an idea for my ore ejection system. It's never worked properly, however, how I intended it to. It only drops ore out of one of the chutes because the large grid connector is just able to pull so much of any ore or scrap that you can grab, that you can get, that it only actually needs to use one of them, and then it just ejects down into here. So my thought is, if I change that to a small head, I can then just put a conveyor junction here and have some small grid ejectors. So I'll have like 3 ejectors on there, 3 ejectors on there, 3 ejectors on there, and they'll just be set to drain all and eject, because there is a sorter somewhere along here. Yeah, this one here. This sorter. It's the industrial sorter. Let me have a look here. Sorters. We've got our ore processing sorter here, and this is just set to do all the ores and scrap and stone. So that'll just get drained regardless of whatever the ejectors are set to, and then they'll just drop out anything that goes in there. So what I want to do first is I want to switch those out. So I'll come back in a second when I have those sorted out. Perfect. Okay, that should start ejecting. Here we go. So you don't get to see these massive rocks going down, but it does work, and it at least sounds cool. I would like it if the rocks were bigger, but I think that's like the best I can do for making all of them work at the same time. So I think I'm just going to leave it with that. And yeah, I'm not able to bring in like tons of resources anyway, so I mean, this is a bit more interesting than like all of the cargo just getting instantly deployed into the refineries, so whatever. Yeah, it doesn't even take, yeah, even that load doesn't even take that long, so I'm happy with that. They all go down into these connectors perfectly fine, so that's perfect. It doesn't look like I needed to change my game settings at all either. I don't think any of those were getting deleted. Drops them at a nice reasonable rate. Okay, so what we need to do is go and do our salvage trip now. So we've got enough uranium in our reactors and whatnot to tie us over until a little while, so we're gonna go do a salvage trip. So this all should be fine. Do I need to bring anything with me? I've got some rock in here. Let's get rid of that. There are some fancy turrets, some fancy interior turrets in the ship that I'm about to salvage, so I've been wondering if I wanted to try and get them or not. Like weld them up, take them back with me, but I don't think I will, actually. because I think they're technically a modded turret that uses the modular encounters spawner. So if I was to build anything, I want to keep my stuff as vanilla as possible. So I'm gonna go with that. So we've got plenty of power. Thrusters on, and we'll unlock. I'll need to be a bit more careful when I'm flying around outside of my safe zone. I'm fine in here, I can just bang into everything that I want. But we'll have to be a bit more careful when we get over to the wreck. And I've got some downward facing spotlights, so that should be okay. There are spotlights. Turn them all on. Yeah, so now I can see a lot better. So let's go find that crashed infinity. We can use our primary booster. Pick up a whole bunch of speed. Just coast on over. Okay, so we've got to make sure that we leave something powered on here so that it doesn't get deleted by accident. So what I can do, I can check where the batteries are, and hopefully there's one right down the bottom. If I can't move them around because it'd be scrapped, so yeah, I'll have to just make sure that I don't grind down a vital battery. Has this cargo container got anything in it? Not really. I think... Oh, there's a battery there. Okay, so there's one like right in the middle. I wonder if I can put that on show on HUD. Does this thing have an antenna? I think it does. It's under like infinity, yeah. So we'll turn this on, but we'll put the broadcast radius just down to 500 meters so it doesn't draw any attention. And that's just so that I can see that battery there. So I have a visual marker of what not to grind down. Oh, there's a junk store. Should check one of those out. I've checked out the SEMS stations, but I haven't been to a junk station. Maybe that's something I can do. Okay, let's... that's the antenna in there. The crashed infinity marker is just a GPS, so it's nothing important to grind down in here. So we'll just start with the top. Work our way down. Well, I think... Is that heavy armor? Yeah, that's heavy armor. Okay, this thing is going to be super valuable. Very heavy stuff though, so I'll have to make sure I'm conscious of my lifting thrust. I'll probably go up to maybe about 80% of my total capacity, or maybe 90%, because that leaves some thrust wiggle room for me to maneuver around. Don't want to go too heavy and then lose all of my control on the way back and then crash this. I think, yeah, this thing is just thick and mostly made of heavy armor, so this should give us plenty of steel plates for the time being. Can even maybe just deconstruct some of the steel plates so that I have some surplus iron in case I need to craft some other stuff. That's a problem I've been encountering. Like, I have plenty of steel plates in my inventory, but I don't have any iron to make little tools, or if I wanted to make like a motor or something like that. Batteries. So we're at 80%, feeling very sluggish going up, so we're gonna we'll fly back at 80%. I'll turn my reactors on just in case I need some more power on the way back, because it's probably going to take quite a while. So I'll see you back at the base. It looks like I'm going to need to do probably about 3 trips to get the whole thing grinded down. Um, maybe even more. I mean, those were just the top layers, which aren't very, I don't know, dense. So, let's see, where are we? Space Triton main base is over that way. Okay. It looks like I'm gonna have to use my main thruster to move around. We've actually come over to the junker store here as well. I wanted to check this out and see what kind of stuff they sell. That was right next to the Infinity, so it was on the way, so whatever. Hop out. Let's have a look. What do we have in here? Ooh. It's got components and in... Oh, it's got components and in large quantities. Excellent. Does this... it wouldn't have a connector, would it? It's got some side connectors there. I wonder if I can use that. I need to buy anything? How cheap are these? They're pretty pricey. How about this if I bought all of that? I wonder if... I want this to stay here. I wonder how I can get that to stick around. The modular encounters spawner, I think, gets rid of things. Even if you put something next to it. So like if the regular trash remover is based on if there's nearby grids. Modular encounters. What I'll try. I wonder, has this got everything I need to make? Like, can't make a solar panel. How could I get this to stick around? I could, would it break if I took control of it, I wonder? If I hacked into it. If I owned the grid, it probably wouldn't get removed. What can I do to make this stay here? Oh, has it got everything I need for a turbine? No, it doesn't. I wonder if all of those resources are stored in that cargo container. Or if it actually is a store that resets. Because that's kind of what we want. That's the large value amounts that I would like to buy. I really want this to stay here. We'll give it the name like Station Lock. What is it? Junker Station Lock. Name it that. So that should come up in our entity list. So we've got this junk store and Junker Station Lock. Should be okay. I wonder if I can turn that into a station actually. No. I don't think small grids can be stations, so oh well. We'll leave it at that. Hopefully that doesn't get removed. So we'll go back to our salvage job over here. Okay, well that is more or less all of that picked up now. How are we looking? 72%? Yeah, okay, should be alright. Can't be bothered picking up all those other little bits and bobs, so we're gonna head back now. I have come to the realization that it's probably in my best interest to do the launch silos first. So that's the next thing I'll do in the second half of this episode. So we'll make our silos. That'll just be a nice, simple, circular structure. I might need to get out my digging machine, so that I can start clearing a little bit of the mountainside, make that nice and flat, so I can put in my silos that way. And then once I've got the silos done, then I'll be able to put my rocket away, and I'll also be able to have room for my next vehicle, which is going to be used to collect scrap ships from trade stations. So I have a cool idea in mind for that, and a pretty funny name for it, so I think we'll work on building that vehicle in the next episode. So for the rest of this one, we're going to do the silos. So I'll meet you back at the base, where we have tons of resources now, and we'll be able to work on our silos. Over here, I'm going to flatten that down a bit so that we can put in our silos into the mountainside here. So I might actually print off another one of my mining ships, because it's just a bit more stable than the current flattening thing that I've been using, which is just a tiny little ship with barely enough thrust to go around, so it's a little bit clunky and uncomfortable. Where is it? It's over there in that right corner. That tiny little thing, which I think might take a little bit too long because it hasn't got as much of a fuel range as a proper vehicle would. So that's the old one. I didn't actually end up taking a blueprint of all the redesigned stuff that I did. Unfortunately, that would have been smart. I think we just need to move. Which way does it need to rotate? That looks about right. And we need to go out that way. Need to go out that way. Is that on its side? No, that's the right way up. Okay, so we need to print it from its top. So that is as low as it goes, I think. So let's just turn on the welders and see what we get. Looks like it's missing some bits at the top, but that's alright. It's probably a connection point issue, if anything. Yeah, that looks like a connection point issue. So we will set that to go up a bit. I love watching this thing work. So satisfying. Yeah, it doesn't need to be conveyed up or anything, so I'm not going to worry about all those little ports if they don't get welded up. But it looks like they might be in range of all the welders, just barely. Yeah, looks like they got done anyway. I wasn't going to be worried about if they do or do not get welded up. so we can have a look under here. Is that everything there done? Yeah, that's all done. All done. The bears are done. We're missing a bit of armor on the top. And an antenna, but I don't really care about those. So, we'll turn our welders off. And we'll be able to disconnect this. Our dampeners are on. Okay, so let us just grind that down. Oh, whoops. That was dumb. I've got some blocks flying around somewhere. Some loose blocks. It's one of the major issues with my safe zone. Need to set it to not boot out neutrals, although I suppose neutrals coming into the safe zone won't be that big of an issue. Although it's done on a faction by faction basis, I think. Is this? Oh no, it's just that it's just that the projector is on. Turn that off. Okay, so where are these little pieces of armor? Are they up the top there, or are they around here? They haven't gone in under this, I hope. Are they in here? Where have they gone? They up here? Ah, there they are. Perfect. Let's get rid of that. Fix that up. We can put that back in its rightful place. Okay. I would like it to be daytime. I think the day might have just ended. So what I'll do is I'll just plonk down here and I'll probably just wait. I'll wait until the morning so that we can see what we're doing a little bit better. Okay, so we've got ourselves ready for the new day. So what we're going to do is... Oh, I should have put my batteries on to recharge. I wonder if I can just dock on the top of this and then charge it off of that. Might be a quick way of doing a little bit of a charge while I have a look around. Yeah, dock there. Put these on charge. Okay, so what do I want to do? Where am I going to put my silos? I think the most sense is if I smooth this down a little bit. That'll give my turret here a little bit more of a firing line. So if I like start at pretty much this height and then just flatten out, go straight across here, flatten all that. I might need to expand my safe zone range a little bit, or these can just sit outside of, just barely like outside of the range. It should work, and then I should be able to just pop out of the top of this flattened area. So I want it to be nice and wide, so I might need to go to about here, I'd say. So I can't like put like a GPS here unless I teleport myself in and then I'll just fall through the planet. No, I'd have to dig down with my hand drill. So we'll flatten that down and then smooth it back up. So there'll be another sheer, like a steep cliff here, and then it will flatten out here. And then we'll think about flattening that area as well. But we'll flatten that area for our big ship at a later date. For now, we'll work on this area here. And we'll see. I'm just going to hop. We'll go for it. So we'll see how much of it we can get done on just 30% of our battery. And I want to put that on I'll put that on here so that I can see how much power I've got. Don't want to nearly fall out like I did last time, or run out of power. So we'll line up with the horizon, nice and flat. Do we want to make it flat with this area here? I think I do. I want to make this whole ridge line sort of flatten out. So if we make this more or less our lowest point, we can just go across, smooth that out. I almost need some way of keeping that steady. How many gyroscopes do I have on here? Just the one. It's not quite gonna work, is it? Oh, and I just keep getting bumped around. It's gonna be tricky to keep this nice and level. Keeping this nice and flat is almost the harder part than actually just like going out and excavating it all. Okay, so that's what we've ended up with. Trying to give that something of a sort of neatish sort of, I guess, flat shape. And I've tried to angle the mountain a little bit so that that's also somewhat flatter. I probably need to go over it once more just to smooth it out. But what I need to do is I need to test if this is going to be large enough. So I need to fit 2 silos next to each other, and I want each one to be about 7 by 7 blocks. So what I'll do is I'll build a line up off of this base here so that it's all attached on one grid. So I'll grab out a whole bunch of steel plates, and then we can make a line of just structure blocks out to it, and I can find some other attachment point or whatever for it later. Right now we're just using that. I need to put this on a charger somewhere. No, I could even just add a connector to this line just so that this thing can get power back. Let me put on a connector here. And there we go, connector. Right, so we can put our excavator on recharge. With the little bit of power that we have left. There we go. And set that to charge, hop out, cool. So once that's recharged, we'll be able to flatten this out a little bit more. So what I just want to do is I want to figure out how much space we've got and whether or not we can put in our silos in the way that I had intended. So I'm just going to go all the way back along here till we meet up with the mountain, which is somewhere around about there. So we can use this as a guide for flattening the area properly, making it nice and level. So the idea with the 7 by 7 shape is that should be just barely wide enough for my 2 types of rockets that I want to build. The one that I have in mind is let's see, it'd be like about 5 blocks wide, and I think at its widest our rocket there is also 5 blocks wide. So we've got like the 3 of one of the main blocks, so like the cargo container or the hydrogen tank, then we've got a connector on one side and something on the opposite side. Or if you use the thrusters, for example, it's 5 wide. So if I make some structure in here, the silos are 7 blocks wide. That should give us a little bit of leeway on either side. So I think this should just barely be big enough. I might not need to flatten out too much more, if any at all. So this should actually fit in. And this isn't going to be part of the structure, all these blocks that I'm placing here. These are just for to guide me on how much space I've actually got. So we're going to go with a somewhat circular design in each of them. So yeah, let's go grab our spectator. So how much room have we got? How do we want our silos? They're going to be circular, and we need to do that with slopes. So the question is, where do we put the... Well, it's not going to be like circular, but the silos will be octagons. So there'd be a side of 3 slope. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there'll be octagons. So I need to figure out where the like bottoms of the octagons are going to go. And we can... I think it's best to keep it all on that sort of... this sort of line. Because one idea I was just having was I can use this as one of the sloped edges. So I'll put like some slopes down. And then... So that sort of thing would like... I'd have the slope like along this axis, and then we'd go flat blocks back that way, or back that way. So like slopes, flat, slopes, flat, slopes, flat, slopes. So what I'll try and do, let me try and fit these in side by side. So I've placed in this line, this new outer ring here, and if you look here in the spectator, it's like just going from 3 by 3 to like 5 by 5, it becomes absolutely enormous in comparison. So I would need to, if I want to put in the other one, I'm definitely going to need to level that back a little bit more. And it sticks out over the edge a little bit, so I'll need to dig it into the... Or not dig it, but like I'll need to place some of the blocks into the voxel if I am going to go with that size. So what I want to do is I want to hop in my rocket again and compare that size. So if it's like too gigantic by comparison, I will just go with the 3 by 3 because the rocket at least fit in that like just barely, and it was a snug fit visually. So banged into something, kind of damaged anything. I'm in a safe zone. Why is my safe zone not on? Am I out of zone chips? Uh-oh. Am I out of zone chips? I am out of zone chips. Okay, well, that's a priority. But let me just check this. How does this look? I mean, there's plenty of room. But is it too big? Kind of like this more snug fit. Although that leaves barely any room. Although it feels more like a silo that's purpose built for these things that just barely fit in. Oh, what do I do? think the 5x5 is... I think the 5x5 is too big. I can at least start by excavating the area of a 3x3 and seeing how I like that. What I need to do is go and buy some emergency zone chips. So let me go and run up and do that before I get horribly messed up by some enemies. Right. Go back to capsule mode. Detach. Do you have some more zone chips for me? Have you reset? Oh, you have. Nice. How many have we ended up with? Like 70-ish? 60. 60 odd. Got some money. Yeah, I should be good to go. Should be enough hours to keep me safe. And line that up. Okay, I'll rotate a bit. Right, and then we can dock up, turn off those thrusters, and we'll head back to the base. Safe zone, toggle on, enable. Oh, what? I've got more than enough. I've got tons of zone chips. Is it not pulling from the cargo system or something? Hasn't got an option for like... for... use conveyor system. It should have been fine. That's very odd. Okay, so I think that is probably where we will leave episode, what is this, 35 now, I think? Is this 35 or 36? This is 36, the next one should be 37. Okay, so we'll leave it there for episode 36. Unfortunately, we didn't get as much done as we wanted. No surprise there, I get distracted so easily. But I feel like I got enough shenanigans and stuff to put together a fairly decent video with. So I guess we'll save building the vehicle that fits in the other silo for next week. And I suppose leaving myself 2 episodes to at least put that all together makes the most sense. So what I've done is I've just rebuilt these and re-welded them up. They're in slightly different positions than last time, I think. Yeah, I could even move that one back a little bit more, maybe. I think it is all the right size, so it's like 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. Yeah, they're the right size. So one option is to move it back a bit, or just have a building. I think I'm going to have a control tower there. Makes the most sense. That should look fine. Yeah, so I'll see you all in the next episode where we dig out these silos and weld them all up. Do all the stuff in the well, we'll do all the... what am I trying to say? We'll do all the interior walls and dig those out. So until then, I'll see you later, everyone.